why we're here and what we came to do this year. This is only the beginning of a very long season, but Game 1 means just as much as Game 82. Now, we have some new faces here that I really expect to make an impact for us this season. We've already seen flashes of what they can do for us, but I expect all of you to go out there and execute just like we did in camp. Ain't no more excuses. It's time to get serious. If we play our brand of basketball, there's no telling where this team can go. So get out there, get warm, and let's go win this game.
My first NBA game. Can't believe it's finally here. You work your entire life for something, and then when it's right in front of you, it's almost hard to believe. But I'm ready. And now it's time for me to show everybody I belong and do my best to represent Harlem.
We've got an electric crowd here at Toronto's Air Canada Centre, and we've been waiting for this day for a long time. It's opening day in the NBA. Thanks, everyone, for joining us here in the start of a new season. This is Kevin Harlan, joined by my colleagues Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. You can feel the energy here in Air Canada Centre. The Raptors looking to please their fans in this. As Valanciunas, Johnson comes in for Luis Scola. Ross is checked in for DeMar Carroll, and it's Joseph in for DeMar DeRozan. And a moment happening right now, folks, and the fulfillment of a lifelong dream, a special individual taking to the hardwood as we'll get to watch the first official NBA appearance from Harris.
You know, he's a great young player and even a better young man. So personally, I couldn't be happier for him. I know he's thinking about the game, but I hope he's able to take a moment to just enjoy this accomplishment.
Well said, and I hope so too. I mean, as a player, you want to stay even-keeled, but it's almost impossible. I mean, there's just so much that you've gone through to reach this point. It has to be emotional.
On the court for Indiana, Harris in at point guard. Turner is out there with Mahimi. Then there's Rodney Stuckey, and it's Hill in at the small forward position. That one misses.
And the Pacers just missed out on the playoffs last year and would have to settle for 9th in the East. Hard for a team that has been so dominant in the East over recent seasons.
Harris against Lowry. Shot clock at 6. From past the arc, and Rodney Stuckey the bucket on the assist by Turner. Stuckey's got himself on the board with 3 there. Toronto's gone 0-4 from three-point land to start out, looking cold from outside. And for the Pacers against the East, they actually played the rest of the conference. Greg, very well, ended with a 28-24 record, Clark, against the East.
The only team, Kevin, in the East with a winning record against the rest of the conference not to make the playoffs. Only went 10-19 against the playoff teams in the conference.
Harris dishes to Mahimi. Back to Harris. From deep. And Indiana, another 3. And what a feeling it's got to be for this young player as that last bucket represents the first official score in the NBA from Harris.
Yeah, and he's playing it cool right now, but let me tell you, I'm sure that basket means the world to him. There's nothing like the first one.
My thought is he's probably just happy to have it out of the way. I mean, no more waiting and wondering when it'll come. Those first points are finally in the rearview mirror.
Now with Freak Clark, there was a question whether he would stay another year in college. Really was a tough decision for him, but he ended up coming out after his freshman year.
And Kevin, it's really hard to blame a guy like Freak for doing that. I mean, he's clearly NBA ready, and he's putting a lot at risk for every year he stays in school when he could be on the NBA clock.
And here we see the debut of Freak, the kid from Harlem. His first time on an NBA floor. And Clark, it's a moment that he's worked very hard to achieve, and his family has got to be proud.
Extremely so, Kevin. It's been a long journey for him, but every level along the way he's found success. High school phenom, playing for a college championship. I wouldn't bet against this kid in anything when it comes to basketball.
It's all tied in Toronto. Let's take a quick break now, and then it's on to the second quarter after this. Well, earlier we sat down with Freak and asked him about playing in his first NBA game.
You know, I've thought about this moment my entire life. Now that it's finally here, the feeling's pretty crazy. But I know it's just the beginning. I got a lot of hard work ahead of me to get to where I want to go, to be the best player and the best teammate I could be. But this is an exciting first step, no doubt.
You know, Clark, you don't see that kind of perspective from most rookies, do you?
You really don't, Kevin. I mean, I really like his approach to the game. What remains to be seen, though, is will that translate to consistent production?
And Toronto will go for a different look here. Patterson, he's checked in for Jonas Valanciunas. Johnson comes in for Luis Scola. Terrence Ross is checked in for Damari Carroll. And it's Lowry in for Corey Joseph. And so in the game for the Pacers, Harris, he's in at point guard. Mahinmi is out there with Turner. Then there's C.J. Myers. And it's Stuckey in at shooting guard. Here's Harris. And once again off the mark by Indiana.
Even with every shot clanging off the rim, he seems determined to keep hoisting up these threes. It might be time to get inside of that arc.
Lowry with the ball, picked up by Harris. And the basket by Johnson.
Well, here in the second, not as listless. They're showing some signs of life offensively.
You know, steadying themselves. After a tough start, they're back on track. And for Kyle Lowry, a guy who just has an unbelievable nose for the basketball, the triple-double comes naturally to him now. Top 10 in the league the past 2 seasons. In his short time with the Raptors, he's already their career leader in that category.
Here's DeRozan. It's hauled in by Harris.
Even though he isn't having the best of games from the floor, it hasn't seemed to hurt him.
And no good. Had a chance to take the lead. Toronto's gone 1 of 3 from way outside since the start of the second quarter. And count it, this shot is good. He'll go to the free throw line.
Yeah, they've gone away from the triple as they look to protect this lead.
Yeah, you know, sometimes that can be a mistake, but they weren't shooting it especially well early on, so I think it makes sense to shy away from the triple.
Solomon Hill, he's checked in for Indiana. And it's Harris off the drive. Mahinmi. Basket is good. The assist from Harris. Mahimi's got his first basket of the night.
Great job of screening there. Nice job to take it to the rim and get the finish.
And DeRozan kicks to Lowry. The teardrop falls in. Lowry's got the lead back up to 4 now for the Raptors.
Oh, terrific way to finish that move there, going to the basket.
We've got a 9-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Here's Harris. Harris missing again. Raptors shooting reasonably well, 45%. Ross passes to DeRozan. Outside Lowry for the 3. The shot is off. And so it's a close game as we wrap up the first half.
All right, listen up, everybody. The second half doesn't have to be as close as the first if we pay attention to a couple of things. Firstly, our offensive output in the paint was really encouraging. But that being said, let's make sure we don't get too one-dimensional in the second half. I want us getting points from the inside and out. I did like the scoring punch we got off the bench. That heated things up for us when we had to have a little something extra. And let me touch on tempo for a second. We're not out to use the whole shot clock, but I would like to see us get set up offensively. We expected this to be a battle, and it has been. From here on out, it's a battle we're gonna win. Get a hand in, fellas.
The third quarter now beginning. Both sides looking to pull away the last half of the game.
DeRozan really playing well. He has 12 points and 3 dimes.
The Raptors making a switch here. Patterson's checked in, so an entirely new group in now for Indiana. Turner's checked in for Hill. C.J. Miles comes in for George. Rodney Stuckey's checked in for Monte Ellis. And Harris subbed in for George Hill. Lowry and DeRozan are the guard tandem. Scola out there with Damari Carroll. And it's Patterson in at the pivot spot manning the middle. So that's the 5 in the game for Toronto. Here's Turner. Basket is good. The assist from Harris.
The defense has not been able to keep the ball out of the paint at that end of the floor.
And I'd be interested to know just how many of these attempts have come from inside of 5 feet.
Clark, and they can just let the clock run out here.
No argument with that W.
Harris against Lowry. And the foul called on Freak. And he makes the first but misses the second. And so Toronto takes this one, but by a big margin. They won this game going away. They were the better basketball team, Clark, by far tonight.
No question about it, Kevin. They certainly gave their fans plenty to scream and holler about. This place was rocking. It was on fire. And it only got louder as that lead got bigger.
And that'll do it for the first game of the NBA season. This is Kevin Harlan.